Hi, everybody. This is Jason Eagle, your health authority, with another Healing Matters podcast. And today we're going to talk about the healing properties of garlic. What's the best type of garlic? How often? What is garlic good for? Let's go back. My name is Jason Eagle. You can find me at Jason Eagle QRA on YouTube. On Facebook, I am Strategic Healing. Website is strategichealing.us. And I'm a health practitioner, natural health practitioner. Garlic, people have always heard, whether it's wives' tales or whether you hear this from whether it be Italian people or take your pick. All people, Indian people, people from Turkey, people from Greece, garlic, always garlic. Some people don't like the taste of garlic, but most people do like the taste of garlic. Now, there's dietary garlic, and then there's also medicinal garlic, and taking garlic, right? Well, what is the benefit of garlic, and what is garlic? Garlic is it's in the onion family, in the what's called the allium family, and that's where I'm going to talk about what's the real powerful stuff that's in garlic, which is called allicin. There's also allicin that's in onions and leeks and that whole type of family. And in fact, one of the now to Asia, there's a whole bunch of spices. So, for instance, England and all the way France and everything like that. We can talk about all different spices like cinnamon and clove and all this other stuff, which changed the life of Europe and actually saved a lot of people. But it was really established through garlic. Garlic was one of the very first things that established the trade routes because, like salt, garlic is essential for life. It makes foods taste better. It preserves food and things like that. But it is a medicine. It is a medicine, and it has that very, especially if you try to eat raw garlic, like some people can't take it. And there's all different forms of garlic, like the real mild garlic that a lot of people can eat raw or even roasted, would be the elephant garlic, these really big bulbs of garlic, and then all the way down to like these tiny little ones that are almost like purple, which are just like they'll burn your mouth. If you eat them raw, very, very strong garlic flavor. There's a whole bunch of different types of garlic. The chemical componentry is what's called allicin. And allicin, garlic and onions and things like that, what they are is they are these broad spectrum, what you would call antibiotics. They are antibiotic in the sense that they are antimicrobial. So they kill microbes. They kill antibacterial. It kills bacteria. It's one of the other few things that is also an antiviral. It's an anti-mold. It's an anti-fungus. It's an antiparasitic. So basically, all of the bad stuff that gets in us and lives on us and gets into our system and makes us sick is killed off. We know this too, like in the laboratory, put it in a petri dish and you touch garlic to it, or you use some garlic oil, or basically even just garlic fumes will kill those things. Like you think of Lysol will do it. But see, the problems with Lysol is also just like napalm or an antibiotic in the sense that it kills everything. Garlic is very like some of the very beginning antibiotics, which is specific to specific things, but it doesn't kill the whole, what's called microbiome. So the microbiome of our body, this is the newest understanding. You are essentially, if you think of Star Trek as like the confederation of planets, and there's just a bunch of different species, or like in Star Wars, like the Cantina, where it wasn't just humans. There was like guys that had the hammerhead, and there were all these different creatures. There was Greedo. There was all this stuff. There's different creatures, which you would call aliens. Okay, aliens live in you. So where are the aliens? They are you. So when you do the genetics in terms of, let's say, what is the genes? What is the DNA that makes up a human? If you take 100% of all of the different genes, all of the different DNA that's in a human being, that makes everything from their hair to their skin cells, to their intestinal cells, to their brain cells, to everything that's inside their body, 98% of that is some other living being. Only 2% is actually you. Now, that's not a bad thing. That's how it's always been, is because our body, especially when we digest foods. Now, digesting foods, it's not just digesting food. So going back to what I call the microbiome, or if you think about a living forest as opposed to a desert, which is like go out to the Sahara and try and grow something, even water is not enough to make something grow. You need nutrients, you need something, the soil has to be able to habitually, unless you use chemicals or false fertilizers, nothing's going to grow. And that's what happens in our gut, which is essentially our brain. Now we understand, which is the microbiome, which is you don't want to kill everything off. You don't want to put Lysol or bleach on the inside of your body or even on the outside, which gets in. You have to have a balance, because there are some things. So even we say E. coli is bad. Like if you drink E. coli poop water, you're going to get sick. You're going to get Montezuma's revenge. But should you completely get rid of it? Or like a staph infection, staphylococcus, which is on your skin. And if you get a cut and your immune system is bad enough, it gets really infected. It can turn gangrene and stuff. Now, truth be told, which is you can put garlic directly on a wound like that, and it will kill that stuff. Honey. So, for instance, here's another thing. This is what's called the Manuka honey. I've been with patients in hospitals where they've had really, really bad wounds, like bed sore wounds that will eat its way right to the bone and eventually have to cut the foot off. They are using what's called Manuka honey. Manuka honey is a specific honey that comes from these bees that actually make the honey from this special tree. And that tree has these antibiotics, antimicrobial, and it kills the bad stuff, but it preserves the good stuff. It preserves your good skin. So this is the same thing with garlic, is that when garlic gets into your system, it doesn't just go through like buckshot and just kill everything. That's why it's an immune stimulant. And also, it is the original blood thinner. When people are dealing with cardiovascular issues, your blood gets too thick. Blood getting too thick makes clots, which then can create strokes or can create heart problems, or a whole host of stuff if your blood clumping together. So blood needs to be slippery, right? And one of the things that thins blood better than aspirin, safer than aspirin, is garlic. So, and then also garlic is high in what's called sulfur. And some of the earliest antibiotics were what's called sulfur-based. And then as they got other ones, there were unsulfur-based. And so there's different microbes that are on kind of the sulfur basis. And part of it is how do we keep these microbes from growing? Part of it is it's not just about killing stuff. It's about feeding your system. It's about keeping things flowing, because if your blood can flow to an injured part of your organ, if your blood can flow to think about like you got infected by something, you breathed in something, whether it be virus or bacteria, or you stepped on a stick, like, do I need a tetanus shot? You stepped on a nail which had something that now it's gotten into your bloodstream. If your body is healthy and the blood is good, you bleed because the bleed comes out of there to clean the wound out. The blood comes there to also flood the area with what's in the blood. And what's in the blood is oxygen. That's the other thing that garlic is really, both garlic and aloe are these things that are very, very high in oxygen. They donate oxygen. So if you can put oxygen to these things that, for instance, live inside your gut where there isn't any oxygen, there's different bacteria and different things that infect us that are what's called anaerobic. Anaerobic, ana means it's not aerobic, meaning it doesn't breathe oxygen, doesn't like oxygen. If you give it oxygen, it will kill it. So getting things into the system, especially naturally, and especially if it can also thin the blood at the same time and also deliver an antibiotic per se in terms of something to destroy that, but also stimulate the health process of the healing process. Other things that garlic is really well used for in children. Children tolerate this. So earaches. You get kids that get these constant earaches. And now a lot of the earaches come from babies that are left in the crib and sucking on the bottle, whether it be milk or juice or something like that. You ever seen a baby laying in the crib with it in their mouth, all suck for a while, they'll pass out, and then like milk is flowing out or juice is flowing. Well, that then pools in their eustachian tubes because your nose and your mouth and your throat and your ear and your eye are connected. That's why sometimes when you sneeze, your eyes tear up, right? And there's connections to the ear. So what that means is rotten milk, which is high in this sugar or sugary juice, can literally pool and go into the ear canal, thereby then starting to rot and create this infection where it's all red and hot and swelling, and little babies will tug at their ears, and then they have to get ear tubes and stuff like that. So one of the first things that can be used for is garlic ear drops. So you get a little baby that is getting ear infection, you'll know they'll pull at their ears, and you can feel the ear, it's hot. What you do is you take a clove of garlic, raw clove of garlic, and you pinch it, you squeeze it until some of the juice comes out. That's the oil. And then you mix it with either olive oil or the traditional way is what's called sweet almond oil. Sweet almond oil you can buy at like the pharmacy or I've even seen it at, let's say, Kroger's or Myers or something like that. But sweet almond oil can be mixed with that. And then what you do is you put it on a cotton ball and then you stick it in the ear. You don't stick it super deep. You just kind of stick it there when they go to sleep so that it's kind of there and it kind of leaches in there. And that garlic oil will, number one, take away the pain, but it also will kill that infection. This is the same thing can be used for a bad tooth, an abscess tooth. You can actually, like clove oil, you could put directly on, let's say, a swollen tooth or a bad tooth or a toothache. You can also put garlic oil on a toothache. But taken internally, as I said, is something that does this just miracle process of doing. So it's a great health stimulator because it does everything you want to do. Feeds the good stuff, kills the bad stuff, supports your body's mechanism, especially the blood flow, of which that's all where it kind of comes from. So eating garlic, you can eat garlic, you can cook with garlic, and you get some of it. But it's always best to actually take garlic in its raw form. But if you're trying to fight an infection, so like an infection, or if you're trying to pump up and protect yourself from, the flu or some other thing, how much garlic do you need to take? Now, quite frankly, you need to take more garlic than you would possibly eat or your friends would want you to eat. So a really good way to take garlic is to take it in pill form or capsule form or liquid form. You can go to my website, strategichealing.us, go to the shop, and there's a product called alicidin. Alicidin is just these little capsules with a powder in it, but that powder is a mixture of what's called bear garlic, German bear garlic, which is very, very strong garlic, very high in allicin levels. They separate the allicin out of garlic, so it's concentrated allicin. Plus it's provided with other forms of like garlic leaves and stuff like that. So it's a whole spectrum garlic. And you can take these pills, these capsules, and I've taken 10 at a time. And the neat thing is you don't burp up any garlic. You don't have this burpy, garlicky flavor that some garlic pills do, like aged garlic or something like that. You can get a garlicky burp. And it's not as powerful, like even like the garlic pills that you find at the health food store. Is not as powerful as this alicidin. This alicidin is super powerful. Essentially, 2 capsules would be the equivalent of like a half or almost a whole bulb of garlic. So when I was taking like 10, so that was like 5 bulbs of garlic. The power of there's no way I could eat that in a day, especially in its raw form. You kidding me? Another is what's called Cardio. It's a liquid form. This is a fermented product that Premier Research Labs makes both of these products. But Cardio is a mixture of some of the earliest cardio. Before we had cardio drugs, they were made out of the cardio things that are blood thinners, things that are good for your blood. And garlic has always been. You ever wondered why this whole vampire thing, that the things that like blood like to drink your blood? Is it true that if you eat lots of garlic that the mosquitoes won't want you? Yes, that's true. The mosquitoes and ticks won't want you. The blood suckers The vampires don't want you. The vampires always go to the people, so the mosquitoes go to the people who have sweet blood. Ever been at a campfire and one person's getting bit all over the place and the other person's not? What's the difference? Is their blood is sweet. They actually have lots of sugar in their blood and other things. Now they're attracted by the carbon dioxide. But your body, if you're eating lots of garlic, you're also outgassing this stuff, and they smell you and they go, oh no. And it's not because you stink, it's because if they drank your blood, it would kill them. So they ain't touching that. Homie, don't play that. They're not doing that. So garlic is always been used to ward off evil and ward off. That's why they hang it. Is it just a wives' tale of hanging it in your, kitchen or something like that? No, it actually protects from certain bugs actually getting into your kitchen because it is this, like I said, it's like an antibiotic. It's a protection. Garlic is, so the cardio, 1 teaspoon, which you mix it in water. A lot of people say it kind of tastes like a spicy meatball because it has garlic in it and a number of other things. And you mix it with some water. 1 teaspoon is probably the equivalent of, I would say, like 5 capsules of the L-citin. So 2 teaspoons or 3 teaspoons is a lot. It's a lot of garlic. It has more. The reason they call it cardio is because it is one of the things that is really at the basis of a lot of cardiovascular issues. Your blood pressure issues, your issues of forming clots, your issues of forming blockages and things like that, plaque deposits that eventually calcify, but that's a heart attack or that's a stroke or that's cardiovascular, that's this thing. Underneath it, worldwide research has shown, plus just empirical evidence of treating people with anti-infectives, is you are treating cardio problems by treating the infection. So a lot of cardio problems are really a chronic infection. So you treat, that's why they say one of the worst things that for the heart, one of the things that is going to make a heart attack or is going to heart failure or is going to have really bad cardiac issues is dental infection or gum disease, gingivitis, which is these anaerobic bacteria. That's why people, when they get a stinky breath, like they got what I call a poop mouth, which is they breathe on you and their breath smells like kind of poop, like a fart. It's coming from, sometimes it can be coming from their gut, meaning they got a bad gut, but a lot of times it's actually coming from their gums. They're flossing and then it's really stinky. That's this bacteria that's living inside these pockets. Now, the thing is that you're swallowing this stuff. So this swallowing goes down into your gut, but it also is going directly into what's called the carotid artery, the jugular, and it's going straight to the heart. So this infection is leaching. And when we have infection, the body creates inflammation. So the heart and the cardiovascular, and the veins and the arteries sense that it's being attacked. And so then it creates this reaction, which is the plaque deposits. So the plaque deposits are a reaction to inflammation is a reaction to an infection, to an invasion. It's not, inflammation is not just because you're getting old or just because that's the problem. Everyone says, oh, inflammation, and we need to fix inflammation. But where does inflammation come from? What is inflammation? Like, what is a woman? Right? Tell me the answer. What is the answer? They can't give you an answer. It's circular. What is inflammation? It doesn't stop there. It starts with, like, what is thunder? Thunder is lightning. You may not see it, but what made the thunder was the lightning. So what made the inflammation is the infection. So going back to garlic being so good for these different conditions, every condition known to man, garlic actually has a health. And if you have no health conditions, you're perfectly healthy, garlic keeps you there. Garlic is also so enjoyable. It is the part of the spice of life, and it is a wonderful thing. That's why almost every culture has it. And the cultures that are some of the healthiest in terms of food-wise and age-wise is, the Greeks have more of the centenarians, the 100-year-old people who are still walking up and down the hills. That's why a lot of the Asians have garlic. I mean, that was one thing that the spice trade really brought health to the world and longevity and all this other stuff and more enjoyment is because it brought garlic into the world. So If you want to get into garlic and you want to really find the best products and the best way to take it without having to eat too much and smell stinky, or even for people say that hate garlic, they can take both of these forms of garlic and they never taste garlic. And it's just like, I just took a bunch of garlic and I hate garlic. I wish I could take garlic. I hate garlic. This is a way to take garlic without really suffering from it. So this is Jason Eagle, your natural health authority, and take some garlic and get it in. All right, everyone. Bye-bye.